Hey guys, welcome back to Streaming File. I'm Ben.
Yep.
That's John. We're talking some Redeem Team currently airing on Netflix. John, what happens before we talk about the show or movie though, man? On Streaming File, what
Stop asking
happens?
me that question. Stop asking me that question and drop the intro.
Welcome to Streamophile, the show where John and Ben watch the latest on all streaming platforms and let you know whether to stream it or skip it. We stream everything, so you don't have to.
Well done.
All right, guys. So we're talking some Redeem Team. Look, this isn't gonna. We're going right into the entire documentary because it happened 14 years ago. Okay, this is a documentary currently airing on Netflix about the 2008 gold medal team. Spoiler alert: they won the gold medal. Oops, should have known that already. Hey man, I thought this was a really well done documentary. What did you think about it, John? We don't need to do a synopsis or the cast. It's literally the best players of all time. Okay, we're good.
Dwayne Wade is played by Dwayne
Dwayne
Wade.
Wade. No, wait. Dwayne
Um,
Wade plays self. LeBron
plays
James
self
plays self.
self
Kobe
plays
Bean Bryant plays
slash
self
Black Mamba
slash Black
slash
Mamba.
yeah.
Yo,
I thought
R.I.P.
it
to Kobe, man.
was I thought it was terrible of you
Yeah,
to
I know.
recommend this to me.
Thank you. Yeah,
Let me
good,
tell you that
good.
I haven't seen The Last Dance yet. I'm not a
Right,
huge fan of sports documentaries.
right.
I've removed myself from being so involved and so connected to m- my teams as if I'm a part of a team. My wife always
Yeah,
gives me a hard
yeah.
time about that. She's like, "Oh yeah, what are you guys doing this
Mm.
weekend?"
Yeah,
I'm
see,
like,
like,
"Okay,
listen, I know,
yeah."
I know.
I stopped
Yeah,
doing
as you
that
see the search.
years ago. So
Yep,
I'm more removed from that, and I actually enjoy the games more because I don't get frustrated. It's like I
yeah,
get upset if someone loses, but so when it comes to sports documentaries, it's the same thing. I didn't watch The Last Dance because even though I think Jordan's the greatest player ever, I don't. What do I
mm,
need to know about Jordan? I watched him play, and then I found out that it was curated by him. It was his.
yep.
Okay, it was his documentary. That's great. That's
Basically,
like
yeah,
Draymond Green with new media. Don't
yeah,
believe the journalists. Don't believe the media. Believe me because I have insight. Oh, okay,
yeah,
Draymond. So you're gonna give me the
yeah.
truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And no,
Exactly.
there's no bias. There's no agenda. You're just gonna tell me
Yep,
how it is. Right.
yep.
So
Same thing with the Derek.
this
Same thing with the Derek Jeter documentary on ESPN.
I actually like that one though. I saw when I was on vacation and
Of
caught
course you did.
episodes
Same
at
thing.
like midnight or
Same concept.
whenever they were airing. It's same
He had
concept,
to. He,
but
yeah. He had
I
to drop
liked it
that
though.
after. He had to drop that after bombing out at as being a Marlins owner.
Yeah,
He
but all
had to
these guys did.
rehab his
All these
image.
guys
Yeah.
have to do this because they were there before social media really exploded, so they could really protect their brand and
Yep.
their
Yep.
identity. And now everyone's on Twitter, Instagram, everything, so it's not the same. And so they had the ability to protect their brand, and then after they
Yep.
retire, they can tell their story however they want to tell it because there aren't viral videos of them doing, who knows what. Like
Punching,
you can find now
punching teammates. Yeah. Punching
punching
teammates in
teammates.
practice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Exactly.
S-
Yeah. Look, so I'll say like we're gonna jump around on this because like I said, this is something that already happened, so we're not gonna go step by step on it. Things that I found right off the top, I thought it was okay the first 20 minutes,
mhm.
roughly, right? But when Kobe came on screen, it became different. Like Kobe, like you get there was I it's something that you didn't realize and I didn't realize when Kobe was here, right? And when Kobe was in the league because he look for a lot of we missed out on the Kobe greatness because he played those 11 p.m. games, right? Like he played on the West Coast. Those games were late, would end
I
around one
watched
thirty,
them
2 o'clock in the.
on
Yeah, but
TBS or
most people,
TNT.
yeah, most people didn't, right? Like some people stayed up, but for the majority, you still got to see someone like when you had those Sunday games in y'all white
Mhm.
and stuff like that. But for the majority, most people like they're like you didn't. I didn't realize. I didn't realize like the the difference in like the air around him. You know what I'm saying? Like even now when LeBron like because the documentaries like LeBron talking, Wade talking, their presence is one thing. Kobe's presence was like otherworldly, bro. Like he was just from like it was a different person altogether.
Mhm.
Amazing basketball, like the way he kept, just the way he walked, the energy he had. That's when the documentary for me picked up, and I didn't expect that, right? Like I had already seen the story of him running through Pau Gasol's chest. Like I remember seeing that in 2008. and I didn't know the story behind it, right? Like because we didn't get that part of it,
Hmm.
but just just the presence he had as soon as he came on screen, it was different. It was so different that it was such a stark contrast. I'll say it like that. That I was not really prepared for. Because you think, oh, the greats have kind of the same energy, right?
Hmm.
Like they're all in this. And no, they don't. No, they don't. No, the
No, they
f
don't.
they
And
do not.
look, you asked me, I didn't even finish telling you. So I hate you. I hate you for making me watch this sports
Yeah,
documentary. I just like to
yeah, you're
reiterate how
welcome.
much I hate you
No, I
over
know.
the
That's
25
it's
years of
fair.
our
It's fair.
friendship.
It's fair. It's
And
fair.
I wasn't impressed. Not that I was looking to be impressed with these guys talking, with LeBron talking, because you know how I feel about LeBron and whatever show he's got
Yeah.
going on. I think it's Showtime. I don't watch that
HBO.
particular show, HBO, because I don't think he has anything interesting to say. I don't think he has a platform, so he's gonna say, but he comes off to me as disingenuous.
Yep.
But he like everyone else, they have this brand, and he is LeBron. He's the king, so he's
Yeah.
going to try to
Yeah.
expand
Any.
into different media. And I just don't think that show, like, these conversations are kind of
Yeah,
hacky and corny.
anything they say at that level of money can be detrimental to their stock. So they have to
Right?
be completely
White bread,
centrist in any. Yeah, yeah, they have to
milk
be right
toast.
down the middle. Yeah, they have to be milk toast. They have to be Russell Wilson,
So he's
right? They
not.
have
I
to.
don't think he's quite the Russell Wilson level,
I mean,
but
nobody's Russell Wilson,
he doesn't
but
seem
that's the
very
difference.
genuine. Whereas Kobe, I remember Kobe, and he started before social media, right? 96
Yep,
his rookie year, 97.
97, 97.
And and LeBron came into the league 2003, 4. So he,
Yep.
Kobe already had a few years in the league, and both of them straight out of high school, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and Kobe played for so long, so he transitioned from that before the pre-social and then post-social media.
Mm-hmm.
And but he was always Kobe. Like, once I knew that he was going to be in this film, that's the only reason why I wanted to watch. And then I saw Wade come on the screen. Has I mean, what he had to say, the insights, the stories they told, that was fine, that was cool. I was more impressed with the games that he put up, because Wade
Yep.
wasn't too far removed from having had a hell of a run in the NBA Finals in
Yep.
'06 against the Mavericks.
Yep.
and and I liked Carmelo and Bosch. I liked their commentary. Every time they came on
Yep.
screen to talk about it, their point of view, their their yeah, they were more loose with it, right? LeBron was the LeBron that's kind of just vanilla down the middle. So I didn't really like his take. I don't know. Maybe it's because he left Miami, but I never liked him even before Miami. I'm glad he brought
Right.
championships to the Heat,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. Yeah.
I never liked him. And with with Kobe, I thought there was a genuineness to him, and I remember, like, vaguely, the Paul Gasol running through his chest, but the story behind it and why he did it,
Mm-hmm.
you
Gave me chills,
realize
bro. Yeah.
why he's
Yeah.
such an
Yeah.
animal. Why, you know
Yeah.
what? No, LeBron will never go above Kobe.
No.
It's Jordan, it's Kobe, LeBron, and whoever else.
So.
Never. Like, he was a
Yeah.
savage. He was
Yeah.
a
Yeah.
savage, and everyone knew he was a savage. And everyone says that LeBron doesn't have the killer instinct. And I know this is going off a little bit. It's not about the team, but when he
Right.
came on the film, that it shows that he brought
Yeah.
that killer instinct that they were
Yeah.
lacking. That they were
Yeah.
lacking, and
They wouldn't have beat
that was
Spain.
crucial.
They wouldn't have beat Spain if Kobe Bryant's not there. And this is
No,
still like
absolutely not.
this is prime LeBron. This is like prime ish Dwayne Wade, Melo. Like these are great. They
It's
would not have been Spain.
4 or 5 years
Yeah.
into their career now. So it's
Yeah.
like they're getting into their prime. Kobe had been in the league 11 years by that point, but he was
Yeah.
still 28, 29 because he
Yeah.
came in so young.
17 years
So
old. Yeah.
yeah. So he's still
But
in his prime.
I think that's the thing that jumped off the screen for me. Was the difference, right? Like if Kobe's not there, they don't win. And
I agree.
he's the alpha of the alpha. Like if
Absolutely.
you know what I mean, he's and me and Danny from from Battered Fans basically network. The man runs 4 podcasts. We were talking about it like he's the last real assassin. Like and we had at that point
He
the
took the
movie had
torch from Jordan. It was Jordan,
yeah
and then Kobe kept running with it.
yeah 100% like and 100%. like we had just seen the story, just a clip of the Pau Gasol story, right? It was like a
Yeah.
minute and a half they released it on social medias, and we saw that, and I was like, yo, just that story alone made me want to watch the entire documentary, right? Like I was like, yo, he's the last real assassin, and then you see like the impact that he had on these all-time great players. Like that just shows you there's so many levels to greatness. There's winners and there's legends, and then there's like upper echelons of like the ones that did everything. You know what I mean? Like, and that's where like I don't know how I don't even know what that is.
You,
Like
you know what it is? The ranking system. I'm gonna have to go to my son for this. The ranking system has to be the ranking that they use in Valorant, the video game he's playing, where it's like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, iridium, legends,
yeah,
some craziness, and then it's like bronze one, two, three. Okay, now you're silver one, two. Like that's how they have to stack it
yeah,
because
yes,
that's Kobe is in that God mode where him and Jordan are out
yes,
there,
yeah,
and
yeah,
there is no other. Like LeBron is great, great skill set, but it's that intensity, the attitude,
yeah,
the I'm going to run through my teammate's chest.
yeah.
Like my
LeBron,
teammate that we've been playing in the league and we get paid to go win championships. I'm gonna run right through his chest. And LeBron and D Wade are like, what? Like, you play with that
yeah,
dude? He's like, I know what set they're gonna run. He's gonna be setting
yeah,
the last screen, and I'm gonna run right through it.
yeah,
And they were just like,
yeah,
what? And
yeah,
that you, if you don't do that, you don't beat Spain. He set the tone for
yeah,
what it meant to be on that team, the redeem team, which is what they were called, to be playing for USA basketball. And he set the tone for what you needed to do to really establish that new era. This is how we play
yeah,
ball going forward.
yeah.
Yes, these
Because
guys
I
are on our
didn't.
team. These international players are on our teams back, club teams back home. But this is USA
Like
basketball.
club
This is how we
teams.
represent.
Yeah, club teams. This is a great way to say it, because especially
It
being
is.
a European football fan.
Yep.
Um, dude, like I didn't. So the story I told you earlier before we hit the record button, the stories I didn't know that I didn't remember. I didn't remember like them losing after 2004. Right, I didn't remember that they had lost to Greece in what was it like
FIBA.
'06
Hmm.
in FIBA. I didn't realize that they had to like. I thought that they were just playing more tournaments to get more time and more camaraderie. I didn't realize
Hmm.
that they had to like qualify, and I had no idea uh, about the 1972 cheating that happened to the
Yeah.
U.S. team.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Did
I
you
had no
like to?
no.
No, I knew they lost to Russia, right? Like I knew or the USSR, whatever the hell they were at
Yeah.
that time. Like I knew they lost, but I never knew like Doug Collins scored the game-winning free throw. Game was over. With you clearly see it was 2 seconds left, and they go, "Oh no, it's 3 seconds left." Like after the game was over,
Hmm.
like that was bonkers, bro. And
It
then
was
and then it was.
ridiculous.
I thought it was awesome that they came over and gave him a hand. You know what I mean? I told him like, "Yo, this gold belongs." Like that was so. I didn't know that story, and I didn't. It was I didn't know like the whole backstory of like Colangelo taking over the entire team, and how
Hmm.
and Dean Smith being the reason. Dean Smith, the head coach of North Carolina, was like, no, you need to hire Mike Krzyzewski, like
Yeah,
his
that's the
main
guy.
rival. He goes, that's the guy you need. Like I didn't know that story. So like those little everything else was like, all right, I got it, because I remember that '08 team. I
Hmm.
remember most of that gold medal game.
Yeah.
I didn't remember that Bosch was in there. I could have done without Carlos
Yeah.
Boozer.
Darren Williams was there. I
Yeah,
remember him being there, but you forget, and then you're like, oh, that's right. They
Michael
they
Red
were on
was
that
there.
team.
Like
That's
Michael
the one
Red.
that caught me off guard. I forgot he was on that team. Yeah.
I was like, who's this Catino Mobley looking? We're just doing like random basketball references.
Oh
Basically
man.
the same
But
person.
look, those of you that are listening that are maybe
Not
casual
sports
sports
fans.
fans,
Yeah.
or maybe not casual, but you follow it to a degree. You don't have to be a casual because you don't know stats line by line. I was that guy. I knew what
Yeah.
every player was averaging, which is why my wife gave me such a hard time. Like, no, this dude is like he's garbage. Like his if you look at like
You're
his performance in the last two
yeah.
minutes, that's not the guy you want taking the last shot, LeBron.
Yeah.
No, another thing on LeBron. The the like you said, the background for this film, that what sets up the story is that, yeah, the US was third in '04. They got the bronze,
Yeah. Yeah.
and that's not USA basketball. That's the first time that we had lost,
So it's
and
'88.
in since '88. The
Yep.
US was 84 and one, or whatever it was, in like
Yeah.
that
And that
16-year
one
span.
and that one was the cheating loss
The
to
cheating,
Russia
right?
when they added more time in after the game. So
And they
basically
threw the ball
85
into
and
a
0.
10-footer. But
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
85-0 in international play. And so this movie, this documentary is shows the story of we need to start from scratch. How
Hmm.
do we how do we go from the dream team in the 90s to we have the most talent, the best basketball players in the world? How do we reestablish USA basketball dominance? Realizing now that the international game has caught up with us, and the way that we
Hmm.
play the international game is not the same as it's played at home in the league. And so it was this entire overhaul of the system. And like you said, I knew Colangelo took over the whole thing. I didn't know the details that he said, we're not going to have any committees, any boards.
Yep.
I'm going to have the first say, the second say, the last and only say. And then he
Yep.
has his own, tr- trusted individuals that he'll go to. I had no idea about Dean Smith, who at the
Mm-mm.
time was, with UNC, or I don't know if he had retired from UNC yet at that
I
point,
think he had
but
retired already.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he was the one that said, "No, you want to." Mike Krzyzewski's the guy. Of course, Krzyzewski has, as much as I dislike Duke and Krzyzewski, right? He has a history. He was a West Point grad. He's got
Yep.
that mentality. So he used, throughout the movie, you see it. He tried to use a lot of a lot of the patriotism. This is what you're playing for. You're the
I
service
cheered up a little
members.
bit there, John.
He'd bring
I cheered up
people
a little
up.
bit there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. He
Yeah.
does those
That
sob
that
stories, or
yeah.
like he tried to
Yeah.
pull at the heartstrings. Like, look at these guys serving. They're
Yep.
overseas. They're deploying. They're suffering injuries. They're doing what
Yep.
they need to do so that we can be safe at home. And this was in 2004, 5, 6 when he 2005, 6, so very, very early on in the war, right? We had the
Yep.
invasion of Iraq and eventually Afghanistan. And so we were very much in the middle of what was going on. Everyone was aware that the news about the war was everywhere in the media. So he used that to sort of pull at their heartstrings, their emotions, and get them to have more of a buy-in emotionally, so that
Selfless
they,
service.
yeah, that selfless service, right? This guy
Hmm.
whose eyes look like they're there, but they're not there.
Yeah. He has no eyes. Yeah.
And that was, yeah, it was it I I I got a
Yeah.
little
It
choked
hits,
up.
bro.
I definitely hit.
Yeah.
It
It
definitely
hits.
hit.
It hit. It hit. Like, cause the story, like what it meant, what I appreciated about it, like what it meant to Shashevsky, right? Like, and that had to be baked in over time because,
Yeah.
like, look, they say it a lot in the documentary. These guys, like the European teams and the world teams, are playing with each other since probably since they're kids, right?
Yeah.
Like they point them out, like they go, okay, this guy Luis Scola is gonna be good, so let's put him with Ginobili. You know what I mean? And like, and they go like that. So they birthed them from a very, like, for the NBA. It's not. You get maybe 3 weeks, a 3 week camp right before Olympics, and you try to figure it out. You know what I mean? So it's a very different thing. So it started with the commitment of like, no, you're gonna need to give me 3 years. So it's gonna be the
Yeah.
next 3 summers you're gonna lose. That's, imagine that though. Like, imagine playing an 82 game season, unless you go all the way to the all the way through to
To the
finals.
playoffs and
You,
finals.
yeah, you might play over 100 games to then play a completely different game, because the world game is different, right? A
Hmm.
completely different game for 3 week of practice, and then 2.5 weeks in the Olympics. And if you lose, the whole world blames you, or you can't come back to your country because you're basically a pariah. Like, there's a lot of pressure in that. So,
Absolutely.
dude, like with Krzyzewski, he was the perfect person. Shout out to him just retiring. But man, that story with the soldiers, whew, that got me. Another thing that choked me up, that shit that happened to Doug Collins, bro. Like, look, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm a sympathetic crier sometimes, right? Like, seeing that this guy who lost that shit 50 years ago, it still hurts him, like that he failed and he couldn't get the gold for his country.
Hmm.
Like, that's 50. That's 12 years longer than I've been alive, sir. And it was,
Yeah.
and with him just talking about it right on camera, he's like, it still hurts, and you could tell he's getting choked up. I was like,
Hmm.
damn, man, like that really, like, imagine like the first time he gave that speech to the team. I wish they would
Yeah.
have had that footage, like when he's telling the team what happened, because
Right.
it seemed like nobody knew. Like, I didn't know until that documentary how U.S. got cheated.
Yeah. Those guys didn't know either.
No, it was
And
crazy.
so, and you mentioned, the way that Europeans play, which is very similar to soccer. The way that they're brought up through almost an academy, and they play from a
Hmm.
young age. They're playing together, so that chemistry is there. It's not like, oh, there's free agency. No, we're representing the country, and we
Mm-hmm.
come together every summer or spring or however they space out their trainings, and over years, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, if they've been playing since they were young kids, now that they're in the pros, they have this all this chemistry baked in just
Yep.
organically. And it's
Yep.
difficult to try to compete with that when the US had to rebuild the team every Olympic cycle. It's like, okay, now who's going to play for us? So the fact that he said, hey, you're going to give me this commitment for the next 3 years, this is how we do it, it's not a one and done, was crucial. But to going back to Kobe, they showed when he came into the first practice,
Mm-hmm.
and he showed, look, this is how we play, playing hard defense, just
Without talking.
giving
Yeah.
his body
Yep.
up for loose
Yep.
balls, jumping on. I don't know if you saw that, the one where he's going after a loose ball and he has to chase and jump over like the seats, the folding
Yeah.
chairs that
Yeah.
are out there. He is completely giving everything. Where before that they were playing defense, but he's like, no, this is how we win. It's
Mm-hmm.
all or nothing. And
Yep.
he didn't have to say a word because, like
Never.
LeBron said, LeBron's the talker. He's the funny guy. He tries to bring some, loosen everybody up. And Kobe was just that silent killer. It's like,
Yep.
don't worry about what I
Literally.
say, just what I
Literally.
do.
Yeah. Yep.
And man, that was this for me. It was all about Kobe. Kobe made the
Yeah.
difference. I mean, we know that, but knowing that background, that story, seeing the footage, and the birthday celebration they had for him, seeing him and his
When he's
little
holding
girl,
Gianna.
Gigi, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
was. Javi was
That hit
upstairs.
too.
He wasn't watching it with me, but I was a hit too because it was January of 2020 when they passed, and Gianna was, I believe, I think she was 13, 14 at the time, which is Javi's age
Yep.
now. He's 14, and it just hit. I mean, me be like just me being a father and the fact that they were so
Yeah.
close in age, and yeah, I don't know if I'm a sympathetic crier, but I definitely am, more maybe empathetic than others. So I definitely feel some of those moments,
Yeah.
even if they're just on screen and it's someone that I have
Bro,
no
when
connection to like that personally.
yeah, when you see his wife coming down through the
Mm,
crowd with his two daughters,
yeah,
I was like, bro, like it was one of those things like that's never gonna happen again. You know what I mean? And this happened
yeah,
12 years ago, right at that point. Like there,
14.
that's there. Yeah, 14. Yeah, 14 years ago, dude. Like it was so. Yeah, like I said, like the documentary was cool. Like hearing the backstory about like the '04, how it was all like
Hmm.
the young guys and how that team got completely thrown together
Yeah,
within like 2 weeks, and then trying to figure it out. And like the old players had beef with the young guys because like the whole like alpha shit. But when Kobe came on, it was that entire like even the documentary's energy picked up for me. Like I was like,
absolutely.
oh, I was watching it down, and I was like, okay, this isn't bad. You know what I mean? Like it's cool, like to see this
Hmm.
little like banter between the players and the teammates and all this guys
Yeah,
that you don't normally see together. But when Kobe came on, and he's just playing defense on OJ Mayo of all people, right? Because he was like in the USA pool. That's who that guy that he's just like playing that
was
hard
that
defense was
OJ?
trying to.
Oh man,
That was OJ Mayo, yeah. So he's playing defense on him, and I'm just like, that's just there's nobody. I can't. There's nobody like that in the league anymore. Like
no,
there's nobody I can think of. Like it just and it's not just like through the social media or the 24-hour sports news or anything like that. It's just like nobody just like I'm gonna nobody just simply does not give a fuck about anything else but winning. Right, like 'cause everything's like, oh, but what? But my brand, my online
hmm,
status, my money, like him is just like I'm gonna do whatever the f I want, and you're either gonna love me or hate me. But then he goes to China, and he's the only one that they love.
that they
Everyone's like, all
know
right, cool,
and
yeah,
love.
yeah, all right, cool. LeBron, get out of the way. Is that Kobe? All right, cool. Dwayne Wade, get move, man, move. Is that Kobe? Like it was just a different level, and maybe we should rank these things by that game that you mentioned. What is it, Valorant? What was it?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Valorant,
maybe it
yeah,
should be that. Like it should be just tiers between like bronze 1, 2, 3, silver 1, 2, 3,
right.
and so on and so forth. Because Kobe was just so many levels above everybody else. It just and again these are all time great, all Hall of Famers, every except Michael Redd. and Carlos Boozer. Uh,
Oh man. Look,
for the
let me
most
tell
part,
you the rankings by the way. It's iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, ascendant. So like you're becoming an immortal? No, never
yeah,
mind. Ascendant, you're about to be there. Immortal and radiant. Like radiant, are
wow,
you like you're like the watcher now, I guess. I'm not sure.
yeah, that's Kobe and MJ.
That's it.
That's it. Hey man, I got nothing else. I think we hammered this one home. It's a pretty easy thing to digest because it's a documentary and it happened 14 years ago. So we just gave you all of it, but just watch the first 20 minutes and then see when Kobe happens, and it becomes a totally different experience.
If you're a fan of USA basketball, watch it.
Hmm.
If you're a sports fan or a basketball fan, period, watch it. And when I say USA basketball, I mean, US national team competing at international level. If you're a sports fan, watch it. But if you're, and above all, if you're a Kobe fan, you got to watch this
Hmm.
because you'll get to see him in those moments. I don't know if any of this footage was ever released anywhere else during interviews, when they
Hmm.
have like practice. Yeah, when they're having practice, sometimes the media is allowed. I don't know if any of this stuff was ever aired, but if you want to see Kobe one more time compete and then just
Be
see
radiant.
why he's radiant, why that conversation about at the time or even later on after 2008 as LeBron was ascending, that conversation about who is better, LeBron or Kobe, who is the best player in the league, who is one of the best of all time. To me, this I was always a Kobe guy, but to me
Right.
this settles it. This puts an exclamation mark on that. Like to me, it's not even close. Not
Yep.
even close because you can be this hoorah guy and come with intensity and do it and not be genuine. And then there's just Kobe who that's who he is. He's a killer. He's the
Yep.
Mamba. And yeah, stream it.
LeBron, like, not to get into the Kobe LeBron conversation because that would be a whole nother show and
Yeah.
actually a whole nother podcast, like within
By
itself.
itself.
Yeah, LeBron touched it a few times, right? Game 6 against Boston, like he had moments, but
Yeah.
it wasn't his personality.
A
Like,
way of
look,
life.
yeah, LeBron when he tried to be the bad guy year 1 in Miami, didn't like it.
Hmm.
Didn't like how that suit fit, which is why he faltered at the end. It got
Hmm.
too much for him.
Yep.
That's Kobe's personality 100% of the time, all the time. Like that's him. But then there's even that. Then there's Mamba. Like there's Kobe, and then there's Mamba. Like that's the other thing.
Next level.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah, Kobe alone was one thing. When he ran through Paul's chest, that's Mamba. That's a Super Saiyan. You know what I mean? That's
Yeah.
God mode. That's
That
God
is.
mode. That's different. So yeah, look, completely enjoyed it. We enjoyed it so much talking about it. We forgot Stream or Skip It, Wild Wild West. If you didn't get it from the way we talked about it, you know what I mean? Like, maybe skip it in the first 20 minutes and then stream the hell out of it when Kobe comes on screen.
Just stream the whole thing. Those first 20 minutes are going to be worth it for what comes after when Kobe gets on
Mm-hmm,
screen. It'll make it that
mm-hmm,
much better.
100%.
100%.
All right, guys. I got nothing else. JV.
I'm good. Thanks for
All right,
listening.
guys. Thanks for listening. Catch you guys next time. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Streamophile. Directed by John. Executive producer Ben and John. Created by Ben and John. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.